Matt Coyley, good win today, 4-0 at home against Tunbridge Wells team. Coyley, what do you think about the game?
Ultimately, it was a really important game for us. They had 2 games in hand over us, and if they had beaten us, they'd have gone above us. So in terms of the league position, it was vitally important, no matter the performance, that we actually got the 3 points today. Obviously brilliant, we've won 4-0 at home, we've got a clean sheet, which is really positive. It sounds crazy, we actually just said in the change room a minute ago, we've actually had so many opportunities, got in so many good positions today that it could have been a lot more, and that's not without being unrealistic. We could have had 7 or 8 goals in the chances we've created, which is a real positive. We've just got to execute them a little bit better. We're playing against the teams in the top half of the league or in the playoff position. We're not going to get them opportunities, so we've got to be a little bit more cutthroat. But collectively today, it's a brilliant clean sheet, and ultimately performances are not that important at the moment. We've just got to get as many 3 points as we can.
Absolutely. Matt, we've brought some new faces into the squad in recent weeks, which I think have been really positive. Can you tell us a bit more about the guys that have come in?
Yeah, obviously, I know myself and Coyley have been talking about it, obviously, week on week in terms of getting the right players in, the right profile of player, and when we talk about that, it's in terms of how we want the team to look. And I think with Bradley Schaefer coming in, who we've tried to get since the summer, we've now brought Connor Wilkins in, who we've tried to get since the summer. And when you start to have a little bit of success in the cup competitions, obviously the league table's starting to look a little bit more favourable. People start to get the message out there of what we're trying to do as a club, and both of them coming available almost at the same time has been vital for us, being able to get them in to bolster in that area, because we've been very light on numbers in midfield, and particularly obviously with all the competitions we're in. Finn O'Mara coming back available. We've been looking for somebody, because obviously Jamie's playing at the moment and he's not going to be able to play every game with the amount of football that we've got coming up. No different with Maka, and obviously Will being injured, so it was important, and Finn came back available, so we had the conversation, managed to bring Finn back, who knows the players, knows the club, knows ourselves, and obviously that showed that on Tuesday, being able to take Jamie out. So I think there's been some real good additions over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we're still looking at at least one more option sort of in the final third of the area as well, which again we've been speaking about, but we're getting closer to what we want to get, and I think, like I say, just in terms of the people, like I say, the type of player that we've brought in, the profile of the player, and also the characteristics of those boys, like I say, particularly with those 3, they're 25, 26 years old, all 3 of them, good ages in terms of what we're trying to do this year, next year and beyond that, and in terms of the way the team plays, same. So I think it's been some real, like I say, it's taken time, and we've worked extremely hard, obviously with the other staff, but we've worked hard to get those type of players to the football club, and I think you can see now that it's bearing fruit in terms of being able to make the type of changes that we can in the game, like today when it's sort of just petering away a little bit and the game was a little bit scrappy. We get the second goal, and then we're bringing in the likes of Connor and the likes of Robbie Rees, has obviously joined as well as another one. I know we mentioned him last week, but just to mention him again as well, like he's 31, he's an experienced midfield player that can play in other areas, and again just a top lad and a top professional and another fit player in terms of mobility. So I think there's been some real good additions, and if we can just get that, probably that final piece of the jigsaw, I think we're in a good place.
Absolutely. Jamie, I think good to get that win under our belt at home. The last few games before that, we've been in winning positions and either dropped points or conceded late on. I think in the league now we've got 4 consecutive away games, which we've got to look forward to. How do you see the next kind of month coming?
It's going to be difficult because we've got a bigger squad now, and we're going to have to rotate things around because we've got certain players that can't play in the cup competition, so we've got to look at that, and we're almost doing like a 3-weekly plan, the management team, in terms of who's available for what games, and just trying to tick certain people over, so we're sharp and we're ready to go for each of the games. So there's a lot of planning at the moment in terms of certain players, whether they're suspended or ineligible. So ultimately we've just got to pick up as many points. We've got a target that we've set the players in terms of the amount of points that we need between now and the end of the season to give us a chance to get in the playoffs. We're on track with that currently. It's important that we just really focus on that, and when the cup competitions come around, just make sure that we prepare in the same way that we have done in the league games. But we're finally at a point now where you're looking at the bench and we can make some real strong changes that are going to make a difference. And we've struggled for the majority of the season with personnel, and now there's players that have not even made the squad today that are playing elsewhere in 23s or getting minutes that so much stronger than what we've had at the start of the season. So we're in a real promising position. We haven't achieved anything yet. We're still a work in process, but we're seeing the fruits of just being a bit patient, and the players have worked so hard for us and the club, and we're starting to get where we need to be.
Yeah. Obviously, to get the game, we've got a home game on Tuesday. We've got a cup game at Stansfield next week, and then those 4 league away games. As Corley's just said, the season is settling down quite nicely for a good run in. It's a good place to be in for the club.
Without doubt, like we said it at the start, I know we sounded like we were talking a little bit cliche, even when you go back to the FA Cup game against Sevenoaks and you go back to Sutton away, and we're saying like we know where we're trying to go and how we need to get there. You can't fast forward any of them processes, it takes time, and I think obviously credit to the club and to its fan base that we've had that support, which probably wouldn't have been given at certain places, but we sort of, this was the right fit for us as a management team, and obviously working with yourselves and the board and, like I say, the fan base. I think it shows that when you're given time and you get the right wheels in motion, and I think we've done that, and I think we're starting to see that's obviously bearing fruit now, and the players have to take a lot of credit for that, as well as the staff. There's a lot of work that goes on in the background, not just obviously, I know we're always the ones on the camera, but Dan and Taylor, the kit men, the physios, like they do a lot of work, and they have to really be commended on that work that they're doing, because they're a massive part of what we're trying to do. So I think sometimes that gets sort of forgotten, but there's a lot that goes on into a football club and a team being successful, and there's been a lot of hard work going, and as I say, that's starting to bear fruit now. But moving forward, we've got some tough games Tuesday night here against Snodland. They're a new team, new management team, new impetus, etc. The game looks totally differently. They're a young team. It looks totally differently to what today looks like, different shape again. But again, even again today, we have to give ourselves credit. Like, they've changed shape twice, 3 times during that game. That's about 5 games in a row that teams are having to change their shape against us. And again, our due diligence during the week in terms of the work that we're doing on the training ground. Like I say, Taylor's massively important on the analysis side of it, working with us, and I think we have to take some credit for that, because like I say, that every game we're playing, they're having to change and adapt to what we do, and when you've got that, you know you're in a good place. But as Coyley said, like, there's a lot of work still to be done, and it's if buts and maybes, and we're a long way from where we want to be still. But at this stage of the season, your season's fully alive. You're in the middle of February, you're in 2 cup competitions, in the quarter-final of the national competition, you're in the semi-final of the Kent Cup, and you're in obviously a healthy position in the league, and we're looking up. And I think obviously, like, look, if we said that at the start of the season after 4 games, people would be looking at us like we're mad, but we kept believing in what we were doing and where we were trying to go, and I think, like I say, we're experienced, we know what we're trying to do, and I think, like I say, but we've got to finish the jobs off now, and I think that's the important part. We've got 5 weeks where our season still needs to be alive in 5 weeks.
Gents, good result today, well done, and congratulations. Let's look forward to Tuesday and get another 3 points in the bag.
Thanks,
Lovely. Thanks a lot. Cheers.